So here we can see there are two surfaces over here. This surface is a smooth surface, and we can feel over here it's a smooth surface, plain and smooth surface, and here is one shutter is there, and it's a little bit of rough surface over here. And now we are doing that activity that our object is that rolling glass. So it's a cylindrical glass is our object, and whenever we can see the activity over here, what happened when I leave that rolling glass from this inclined plane, and what happened over here also. So let's first check out for the smooth surface. So I am leaving this glass. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and so what happened? Glass is moving and covering a more distance. Okay, once again let's do that activity on the same surface. Now you can see that glass again moves and go and cover whole smooth surface distance over here. Now let's do the same activity with the same inclined plane for our rough surface, that is our chadar is there. So for that we are doing this activity over here. So I think so same inclined plane over here is there. So now I am again moving this glass. And now you can see over here it is not covering a more distance. Again I am showing you for the rough surface. Again you can see over here glass is not covering more distance than a smoother surface. So from this activity what we can say that if surface is smooth, then there is a less friction, and if surface is the rough or a hard surface is there, then there is a more friction force we can experience over here. Now let's okay, so now we will learn the second factor that affecting the force of a friction. Friction is more if the surface are pressed harder. Now you can see here is surface is the force or that object is bigger, and because of that bigger object the force that pressing the surface is more. So if the object force or weight of the object, you can say that weight of the object or a pressness or object is pressing harder over here, and because of that here friction is the more. And if you can see over here friction is less if the surface are not pressed harder. If the below given surface is not pressing harder, then here the friction is the less friction. So that two factors are affecting the force of the friction. So now we can see that, now here we can see that cause of friction. So cause means why that friction or why friction force is happening over here. Now here we can see that friction is caused due to the interlocking of irregularities between the two surfaces in a contact. Now whenever we take a two surface, here we can see two blocks are there, wooden blocks are there, and if we can see a interlocking surface between that two blocks, and we can see, and if we zoom it or we can bigger and bigger it, then we can see over here that surface are not regular. It's an irregular surface. That level of surface is not regular or not a plane, not a smooth. It's an irregular surface is there, and because of that irregularities between the two surfaces, both objects get interlocked between each other. So smooth surface have minor irregularities. That means over on a smooth surface there are minor irregularities between the two surfaces, but on the rough surface they have a larger irregularities. For example, if we can take over here, we can see over here these are the two objects in my hand, and if I feel its smoothness, it has less irregularities on that surface. And whenever I take that paper, there's a polished paper, we can see that, and when I feel it, it's a harder or rough surface. Then here we can feel also the irregularities on the surface, between that the surface and my hand. Okay, here we can feel a smoothness, and here we can feel a roughness or irregularity on that surface. Okay, so rough surface have larger irregularity between two surfaces, so force of friction is more if the surface are rough. So what we can say here? We can say here the force of friction is the large on the rough surface. So it depends on the what kind of surface is there. Is it a smooth surface or is it a rough surface? Depend on it, the force of friction is depend. So that are the causes of friction. Here we understand the, so from this video what we learn? We learn that what is the friction, what affect the cause, what factor that affect the friction, and also what causes a friction. Okay, so that things we learn over here. So I hope so you understand it very well. If you have any still doubt or queries, you may ask me on my WhatsApp or call me personally. Okay, so next topic of that lesson we will learn after.